communicator. So the title for today's talk is From Horse Sense to Natural Love. First of all, when you feel happy, especially really happy, it may seem to you that you've always been happy and that you'll always be happy, which is just as true when you feel really sad, lonely, depressed, sick, or scared, which means how you choose to feel on any given day will characterize how you will feel about your entire life, that one moment of the day. So I've got a couple of stories to share. The first one is called Horse Sense. Down a certain country road is a field with two horses in it. From a distance, each one looks like the other horse. But if one stops the car or is walking by, one will notice something quite amazing. Looking into the eyes of one horse will disclose that he's blind. His owner has chosen not to have him put down, but has made a good home for him. This alone is amazing. Listening, one will hear the sound of a bell. Looking around for the source of the sound, one will see that it comes from a smaller horse in the field. Attached to her bridle is a small bell. It lets her blind friend know where she is so he can follow her. As one stands and watches these two friends, one sees how she's always checking on him, and that he will listen for the bell and slowly walk to where she is, trusting that she will not lead him astray. Like the owners of those two horses, God does not throw us away just because we're not perfect or because we have problems or challenges. He watches over us and even brings others into our lives to help us when we are in need. Sometimes we are the blind horse being guided by God and those He places in our lives, and other times we are the guide horse helping others see God. Second story. A man once found a butterfly cocoon. On one day, watching it, a small opening appeared, and the man watched the butterfly as it struggled to force its body through the small hole. It appeared that he had gotten as far as it could and could go no further. The man decided to help the butterfly, so he got a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bit of the cocoon. The butterfly then emerged easily, but with a swollen body and tiny shriveled wings. The man continued to watch the butterfly, expecting at any moment the wings would emerge and expand to be able to support the body, which would contract in time. Neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of his life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled wings, never able to fly. What the man had not understood was that the restricting cocoon and the struggle required for the butterfly to get through the tiny opening were nature's way of forcing fluid from the body of the butterfly into its wings so that it would be ready for flight once it achieved freedom from the cocoon. So for us, sometimes struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. If nature allowed us to go through life without obstacles, it would cripple us. We would not be as strong as we might otherwise be, and we could never fly. So there's a secret to having a grateful heart. We talk about gratitude here a lot. Giving thanks is an expression of gratitude, and gratitude is one of the most beautiful secrets in our spiritual life. Gratitude is a form of love, and love is something which flows from the Creator of the universe through all of its forms and all of its manifestations. So without love, life in this universe cannot exist. Love is the universal force of preservation, which holds creation and manifestation. There is a natural flow of love, because love is as natural as the universe. By design, there is a tension between the forces of creation and universal love. It is this tension which controls the size of the universe, holding within its envelope. It is this tension which regulates the size of an electron's orbit around a nucleus. Love is the force which retains electrons in their orbits, making atoms possible in the existence of life as we know it. So, you can block love, or you can allow it to flow naturally through you. Falling in love with another person is the allowance of the flow of love through your heart. And in a world where everything has the appearance of separateness, it is a surrender to the unity of all of life. It is a place of apparent vulnerability where we open our hearts and we have a willingness to take a risk that separation will once again return if that love is later lost. The secret to all this helps to release doubt and confusion forever. If you'd like to get rid of it, this is what we need to know. You've been there, maybe in your life, you're feeling confident, you're ready to move forward with something or someone, and all of a sudden something happens and it triggers doubt. You've experienced that? Confusion sets in. Before you know it, you're deep in the well of questioning everything. Just like I talked about my story of golf last week, how I got into doubt and how it messed everything up. Your heart knows that this state is not the truth, yet it seems to appear out of nowhere and for no apparent reason. So regardless of where you are on the journey, there is help from the company of heaven to assist you to be free to be, to fly and create just like the butterfly does. So how does mystical reality fit in with this? It's going to explain more about gratitude to God. Everything that exists physically, even ideas and thoughts by everyone that are in physical embodiment, have a deeper, more profound energy existence. The idea of thanks and gratitude is part of a deeper mystical reality as well, and mysticism being the oneness with Source. A person who expresses thanks for any physical life experience is not, in the majority of cases, aware of the profoundness of their expression. And a person expressing thanks to God may have little or even any awareness of the deeper significance of such an expression of just saying thank you. This is because unless a person has been blessed with real mystical awareness, giving thanks is just an expression of limited personal ego identity. It may be that when you're giving thanks to God, there is a divide of consciousness or awareness between the personal ego identity and the universal identity, which is God. Because such a divide, which is imagined by the ego, the full mystical reality or the idea of thanks is lost in the myriad of the personal ego's doings. When the personal ego gives thanks to God, it is one thing, because it's the ego. But God is another identity. In contrast, when a person with real mystical awareness gives thanks to God, there's a knowingness that there is but the one life in the universe, and that's a lot of what we're being thankful for. That one life, or that universal consciousness, is what we call God. So in absolute mystical reality, and I like the statement of this, when giving thanks is expressed, it is God's presence thanking God's presence. Did you ever think of that there? God's presence acknowledging itself for the goodness, the excellence, and the clarity and creativity achieved in human embodiment. Or, as the Bible expression goes, in the Spirit made flesh. In mystical reality, the most important thing a person should be aware of is that giving thanks to God actually acknowledges God's presence. And the more that one gives thanks to God, the more your consciousness is filled with that presence of God, which increases mystical union, whether in or out of meditation. Sometimes people with an awareness of mystical reality thank another person and are aware that they're not thanking that person's ego, but rather the God presence that's within that other person, which stimulated that person's soul to do something that prompted the expression of thanks. In absolute mystical reality, giving thanks in God's presence, speaking to itself, within itself, which might be called universal self-contemplation. And then the concept of time enters in a mystical reality of thanks as well. Because when a person traditionally gives thanks, it's for something in the physical reference of time that's already happened, maybe just a short time ago. In fewer cases, it's about concurrently happening now, and in fewer cases, it's something that will be happening in the future. So, in absolute mystical reality, all three physical time references are present in that expression of thanks: the past, the present, and the future. People with genuine mystical awareness would find themselves saying at least one daily, I give, and repeat after me, okay? I give thanks to God's presence for all blessings received in the past, the present, and the future. Kind of covers it all, doesn't it? Even a person who has not achieved this mystical awareness but recognizes the validity of such a statement could use such an affirmation of thanks in their life. So those living in mystical reality exist in one eternal moment of time, because that's all there is. But we look at in our human life, the past, the present, and the future all coexist in that moment of time. When people give thanks for the blessings or good in the future, they are acknowledging the good they may have already received, but yet quite not aware of it in their sense perception. So the mystical bottom line is this. Whenever people give thanks in mystical reality, they are connecting and interfacing with God's presence. So what can be learned from all of this? Just simply give thanks to God often, and very often, because of what you're going to experience. Gratitude flows unimpeded from an open heart. When you allow it, it moves as freely as the sunshine, unobstructed by judgments or conditions. And all of that leads to a better quality of life for all of us. One of the most enduring things a person can say to a loved one is, I'm grateful for having you in my life, and I appreciate you for who you are. If you haven't already tried this, try it sometime. It adds new meaning to the quality of life. Would you like to say it to somebody now? Turn around and look at somebody next to you or behind you. And to each person say, I am grateful for having you in my life. And I appreciate you for who you are. Okay. So keep that in mind and practice it throughout the day. So to end the talk, God wants to say something to you. The ship you ride on is my heart. Try it sometime, because if you haven't already tried it. Because my heart cannot be separated from my vision. They are one and the same. As you see, you are. You encompass all that you see. So look at me, enliven me in your life. Light my path on earth. You are greatness and encapsulated into a human form. Find out who you are, beloveds. See bigger. Do not accept the limits of your human form, because that's what you've been doing. No longer accept limits, because unlimited yourself. I put no limits on you. I never did, and I don't now. What limit do you think that the limitless can put? You're not confined to your human form. This is not the extent of you. I am the extent of you. You are the song I sing. You are the note I play. How can you accept less than magnificence for yourself? Cease believing in your limits. There are none but those of which you believe. Your heart can travel anywhere. Your heart could take you everywhere. Your heart expands your mind. And then your mind accepts limits, but your heart knows better. In the heart of hearts, you know the vastness of the enterprise of life that you have set forth. So, beloveds, remove your clinging to limits in your life as you would a vine that's wrapped itself around you. You've been clinging to that vine of limits. Now cling to the vastness of no limits. Nothing limits you at all. Do you hear me? Nothing limits you. Adherence to old ways just blocks your view. But look to deeper motivation. Look to your greatness, not selfishness. Look at me and you will abandon it. You haven't been seen far enough. You haven't really seen what's right in front of you either. So be a sighted human being with how you see things on a deeper level. Accept what you have been given, because you've been given everything. And you've accepted a small part of it, which is rude rather than being grateful. Grateful isn't an emotion, it's a seeing. See that which you have been given in your life, and that which then you will be magnanimous. Gratitude is seeing the treasures heaped upon you. Ingratitude is not seen at all. The change to make today is in your seeing, and then you can begin your life as if it was just given to you. You've been given a grant from heaven, so the question is, how will you use it? How do you want to use it? I will tell you, you want to use it vastly. You do not want to have any more confines of anything in your life. Open your heart like the beating wings of a butterfly and see where it takes you. It takes you to me, and that is gratitude in life that you have been granted. Gratitude is awareness. So if you do not see the food in front of you, how will you eat? Set the table. Choose what you want off the table and avail yourself of all that's there. You are my gift. I have given you everything, and I haven't given you for nothing. I have given you for something, and that something is greatness. So accept the possibilities of what I say, beloved, because I say you are my magnificence. Accept the title that I give you, because it is your identity. Accept no other. You live in a world bigger than you know. You're not held to time and space. You are held to great love. Be that which you are. I name you love, I appoint you love, I anoint you mine, and I set you forth to till the field, till the hearts, till your own heart, and accept the title I give you. Beloveds, accept that you are a child of God. Namaste.
Namaste.